Now we're going to review HTML elements, and I had some notes I put down earlier, and I'm just going to cut and paste those in here and just review the notes for this presentation. And first is just HTML definition. An HTML element is everything from the start tag to the end tag. So there's an easy way to look at it here. So it says start tag is right there is the B, the end tag is there. That's the start, the end. Let me line this up here for you to make it easier for you to see. And then, like for an href, here's the start tag and here's the end tag, and in between's the link. So this is the start, it's part of that, and there's the end. And then there's a break tab, which is puts a line break in, and it's one entity in itself, so it's start and end all in one. Let's line this up here. The start of the tag is also referred to as the opening tag, and the end of the tag is referred to as the closing of the tag. And the end tag, at the present time, I'm not going to get into all the different elements and all the things with elements. I'm just going to start with this class. I'm just going to review some of the basics of how this works. So for now, we will get into just the basics. Now, HTML syntax. This is a little more about the syntax. And elements start with basically the beginning tag and the opening. So basically it's tagged around the greater than and less sign. That's the opening tag. And the closing tag has the slash in with it, as you can tell. So that closes out that HTML tag. So you have a start and an end. And like in there's like your P for paragraph or whatever it is. Now the element, everything between there is the element. So it contains this between the start and the end tag. Some HTML elements have empty content, meaning they have nothing in them, because there's just basically a command. Empty elements are closed with the closed in the start tag, so that's like the break tag. So there's nothing between there. That's just a tag, and it creates a break or like a line return. It shows up here, so that's that there. And most HTML elements can have attributes. That's like like a you can set an attribute up for like size of something, width, height, things like that, color. So an HTML can have an attribute. Now, the nice thing about HTML elements is they can be nested within other elements. So nested elements, so basically one can be within the other one, and it's basically termed as nesting. So that's kind of cool, and that works out real well. Now, let me explain a little bit about it. Let's put this over here, and we got a paragraph here, and copy that down here to where I have my code here. Now, as you notice, you see this is the HTML, and we're going to indent this to make it a little easier and this is the paragraph, and this is the body, and that's the HTML again. So this starts and ends the HTML tag, this starts and ends the body, and this is the paragraph. That's all nested within each other. So that's letting you know that this is the HTML page, the body, and the nesting of that. Now if I save this and start my browser up over here and bring it up and do my refresh, it just says it's a paragraph. I refreshed it already. So this is a paragraph. Let's do this again here. Let's add another 2 lines to make it see what's going on. And save this file, save, bring it back over here, refresh. As you note, it's the paragraphs, because paragraphs have like an automatic character return between them, so it separates them out. Now if it was in between there, so let's say that I put in between here a slash br and close it and save that file, save, and click this refresh here. As you can tell, it puts a return there. So paragraph has its own little bit, and the break is just like a carriage return. So let's go back up to where we're at and the elements explained. P element, that's a paragraph. Kind of easy. This is a paragraph. I showed you that earlier. It defines a paragraph. As I repeat myself here. Basically the piece that starts it and the slash ends it. The content in between it is the paragraph. The body is an element, so basically that is a, that's your B, so that's a body. So that's like down here is this is this part. That's the command, whatever. Kind of confusing sometimes because people say command, element, and all that other stuff. Basically, easy thing to remember what's between the the greater than or less than is what you got to worry about. The body element defines the body of the HTML document. The HTML start tag body and the end tag body. So that's the whole. So like a body is the body of the thing. That's what you see. That element is basically what you see on your web page. I mean, the HTML is the whole page itself. So that defines as, okay, this is an HTML page, and then the body is like all the different paragraphs. That's what you're physically seeing. Let's put this in here, and the paragraphs are within there. So an HTML element. So that's why I say here, an HTML element is this. And let's put this over here, light it all up. And HTML elements with no comments are called empty elements. That's like the break. So that's what we said earlier. That's a break. I showed you earlier how that worked. Let's align all this so we have our notes in here so we can use them. And note, in HTML all elements must be closed. Some browsers actually will work without it being closed, but it causes all sorts of weird problems. You open another browser, so like the break and things of that nature. So it's a good idea just to close everything and always have that closing bit in there and close it that way. And here's another tip: always use lowercase. That's because HTML4 and 5 almost require it, and I will use lowercase for this, and also the World Wide Web Consortium recommends lowercase, so might as well keep with the standards and go do that. And here's just another note: follow the appropriate structure procedure of the browsers. If you follow all the appropriate, close it and close your HTML elements and lowercase, you're gonna have less problems, because if you go into one browser, another browser, and something doesn't work, then you're trying to figure out why does it work here, why doesn't it work here, and then somebody complains with you. So that is a good reason for sticking with the standards. Now this is my notes on this. It's pretty straightforward. It's easier when you get in and use it. That's why I showed you this. This is basically the HTML of the paragraph. But just mess around with it a little bit and move forward. Thanks.